Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Mels and today we're gonna be talking about the newest Cosmetics palette. This is Saturn's Return. It's very difficult to pronounce if you're not English native, I must say. So this is Cosmetics' attempt at cooler tones, and the palette looks like this. I've already swatched this. I got this in my latest haul. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you check it out. I don't know you, but I love looking at other people spending money on makeup. Basically, that's it. So this is the first cool tone palette that Cosmetics has in their line. Their previous palettes, I have them here, and they are more on the neutrals, everyday shades. These are the two palettes. This is Rodin and this is Da Vinci. I almost hit pan on this shade in Da Vinci. You cannot really see that, but I love these palettes. Well, this is new, so I have to use it, but this I just love the shades and the nuances of this palette. So when I heard about the newest palette, Saturn's Return, I was very curious because I think that Michelle has a very good understanding of colors and how to make them just not flat, but actually interesting, you know? And her purpose with this palette was to create something that doesn't look like you have just received a punch in the eyes. It doesn't look like plain gray, black or white, but it is actually nuanced. And I think she achieved this by adding a touch of purple into these shadows. So I'm very curious to see how they look on my eyes, and that's what we'll be doing today. If this sounds good to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps a lot and I will be so happy to have you here. But without further ado, let's get into the palette and the swatches. I've already swatched this on my haul, but who am I not to give you a proper swatching section in a review video? So this is the first shade. It's called Lightyear, and it is like a sparkly white topper. Then we have the shade Saturn. It's curious that she called the palette after this shade or vice versa. This is just a matte neutral with a tiny hint of cool tone. Then we have Karma, and I have to tell you, this shade looks beautiful to me. It's so interesting because it is a soft shade. It's like a rose, I don't know how to describe this. It's like a rose gold, but it has a neutral brownish cool base. Very interesting. Then we have the shade Titan, which is like an old gold. I have to say this is my least favorite shade in this palette. Then we have I think one of the best here, Chronos, which is a satin. It's a bit crumbly, so I have to swatch this again. I love satin formulation. I think they look so nice, doesn't matter what's your age. And then we have a deep brown, which is called Omen. So this is how the palette looks. Again, there's no immediate I don't know, they are so nuanced. I don't think I have something like this in my collection. And this shade leans a bit purple. This shade too, in a weird way. I think the lighting doesn't make it justice. I think that the only palette we can compare it with is the Rodin, so I will swatch somewhere some shades that do look similar, but to be honest with you, I don't think there are. So we have this neutral shade here from Rodin, and the new palette. This is warmer. From the other one, from the Da Vinci palette, we have the deep brown shade, similar in tone, in depth, but this is definitely warmer. Then let's compare the satin shade of the Da Vinci palette with the Saturn's Return one. We have Da Vinci and Saturn's Return. You can see this looks orange next to it, but I can assure you that on the eyes this is like a brown. But yeah, this this other shade is so cool that it looks orange in comparison. And the last comparison is this old gold shade. This is always from the Da Vinci palette. Let's see, Da Vinci and Saturn's Return. Again, this is warmer. Okay, so let's try this on the eyes. I will be doing only one look because we only have 6 shades. I don't think I will be using them all, but I think I'll use the most interesting ones, to be honest. But of course, that's subjective. So I'm going to start with the matte transition shade. These are powdery. Like, I don't know if you can see, there's kick up in the pen. See, like when I apply this on the eyes, I don't think like it immediately reads like a cool tone shadow. I think that this has a yellow base, definitely, and it has a bit of neutrality anyways, so it isn't like a taupe. And I love the way Cosmetics eyeshadows blend. If you're here screaming, by the way, again, holiday home near me, and it's national holiday here where I live. So I've been dealing with this for a few days now. So this blended like a dream. I'm just deepening the shade at this point by going back and forth with more pigment. It's interesting. I think of Cosmetics like basically a Korean or an Asian makeup brand because of the formulations. They are very soft, and you won't be receiving any super metallic, bright, that type of Western metallic type of shade. The satins are satins, and they do have glitters in this type of makeup, but Cosmetics has never done glitters so far. You know, she has like pinpoint shades, which are shades with more glimmer to them, and in this case it's lighter. I'm going into this satin shade here, which is called Chronos, and I'll be using this to create a shadow, and this will give you that taupey look. So this is the perfect shade on my skin tone for a natural looking shadow. Somewhere where to cast a light above my head. That's the color of the shadow that I would have on my skin, basically. It's a very natural color. I am going back and forth into the pan to take more and more pigment. As I mentioned, this is a soft type of formula. It's not so full of pigment like we are basically used to in the Western markets, and I'm not sure how much this can be used on darker skin tones. I have to be honest, I have no idea how it would look like. If you know, please let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. Korean, like Asian brands aren't really the best for inclusivity. Unfortunately, it's like they don't know that there are people who are Korean, who are Asian, but have a darker skin. I now will be going with a smaller brush into the dark brown here, and I will be using this to create more depth. This is more pigmented, so I'm applying it and then already blending it with circular motions. And I am going near the lash line with the same shade to create an illusion of depth to my eyelashes. I'm also elongating my eye a little bit, like a shadow liner, but since I'm here, why not? Why not bring it to the lower lash line? Alright, now that both eyes are caught up with, I'm going to be using this shade here all over my lid. So I'm picking it up with my finger and just going in directly. Yeah, so this is like a grayish shade, but it's not, it doesn't look unnaturally gray. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they tend to be a bit too silver. This has some neutrality, I really like that. And again, you can see this is not the typical Western super metallic shade, but it has a very, very elegant and refined shine. I am gonna pick up light here on a smaller brush. It's this shade. Let's see if it applies in my inner corner with a brush or if I will need to use my fingers. This may cause some fallout. It's actually picking up well. It's a nice shade. I think you could also use this like all over the lid to make her look a bit sparklier, but I really like the movie taupey vibes we have. And I'm just gonna do my lower lash line, basically pick up the same shades, the transition shade and the darker brown, and just go to town. So guys, that was the finished look. Let me know in the comments what you think. I personally love I just love how the shades play together, the fact that it's cool toned but it's also neutral and it's not gray or silver, it's so nuanced. I really like this. As for the performance of this palette, it's an Cosmetics palette. It's not cheap, you're paying it like $42, which is basically $7 per shade, which is a lot. It's a lot for a tiny thing like this, but the quality is there. I think if you're looking for a cool toned palette that is not like black, white and gray and silver, I think this is perfect. Maybe you're just dipping your tones into cool tones and are scared of that type of shades, and I think that these are so nuanced that they will just work. Just keep in mind that this is not super dark skin friendly. Overall, I really like the palettes. Love the satin formulation from Cosmetics. Love the mattes, blend super easily. They're super smooth and buttery. And overall, I do feel like suggesting this palette. I think this is a great palette. And that's it for today. Thank you for choosing to watch this video and staying with me. I hope you will consider subscribing, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye!